Hi, if this is your first time here, welcome to my YouTube channel. Or if you're like me and you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Chaotic Curl, and in this week's video, as promised in last week's video, we're going to be making that skinny scarf. But before we get into that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, don't forget to join me over on my Instagram and on TikTok at chaoticcurl_crafts, where you'll be able to see reels and TikToks for this project that I'm working on, as well as previous projects that I've made. And also don't forget to check out my YouTube shorts, where you'll be able to see previews of the projects and just see how everything's going. So don't forget to join me over there. So for this week's project, as promised, and I'm sure as it comes to no surprise to anyone, we're going to be using the same yarn we've been using for the last 3 weeks or for the last 2 weeks. So for this skinny scarf, we're going to be actually finishing up with this yarn. This is the Premier Basix Multi in the color Lullaby, and I absolutely love it, the way that it's turning out. I made a cat ear beanie with this colorway, and I also made a granny square vest with this colorway. So now we're going to be making that skinny scarf, and I'm going to be using the granny stripe pattern to make the skinny scarf, just so that it works up a little bit faster, since I feel I crochet granny stripe, granny square, granny anything a lot faster than I do just regular double crochets. So we're definitely going to be working with that, but it's going to be this yarn. And of course, as has been the custom for the last 2 weeks, the yarn is calling for a 5.5mm hook, which definitely does help the project go a little bit faster. So let's get started on the project. Okay, so just one more thing before we get started. I did make sure to list down below in the description box all of the materials that you're going to be needing. Now, I'm not going to be following anyone's pattern in this case, since it is just going to be a scarf, which is basically just multiple rows of crochet, one on top of the other. So I am just going to be doing it that way. But again, I am going to be using the granny stripe to do it. So it is going to be clusters of 3 and clusters of 3 within the spaces. So I am, of course, going to show you guys how to do that. But you do need to know how to double crochet, as well as how to make a chain for this. And the scarf is going to be a skinny scarf, since I'm pretty sure I don't have enough yarn to make it a wide scarf. So, and I do want to get as much length out of this yarn as possible. So I am going to be making it just a little bit thinner than the normal scarf, just so that we can maximize the yarn that I have. So now I'm ready to get started on this project. Okay, so in order to get started with the granny stripe, we're going to start off with our regular slip stitch, as you just saw me make there. And then I'm actually going to chain a multiple of 3 plus 2 stitches. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is my multiple of 3. And then 2 more, so that's 16, 17. Now I'm going to skip the first stitch from my hook, and I'm going to go right into that next one, and I'm going to start doing single crochet. And I'm actually going to single crochet all the way across this row, and this is going to be the base of my granny stripe. So I'm just going to go into the back lumps. As you can see, this is the top of the chain, and now if you flip it over, you see that little lump there, that's the back of the chain. And we're going to go right under that, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops, and that is going to be my single crochet. And I'm just going to do this all the way to the end of the row, and I'll come back and show you guys what it looks like once I'm done with this single crochet row. So here is that completed single crochet row. This is what it's looking like. I'm just going to turn my work. I'm not going to make any chains at the end of this one, because I'm actually going to get started with my stacked single crochet turning chain. Now, if you don't make the stacked single crochet turning chain, you can just go ahead and chain 3, and this is going to count as your first double crochet, and then you would just go ahead and make another double crochet into that first stitch from the hook. So right there, and it would look like this. Now, in my case, I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to do my turning stitch. So that's going to be the stacked single crochet for the turning stitch. So I'm going to go right into that first stitch at the very beginning of the row, and I'm going to go through the loop, yarn over, pull through, and then again yarn over and pull through the 2 stitches to make my first single crochet. Then I'm going to go into the back leg, so not this one, but this one back here of the single crochet, just right through there, yarn over, pull through, so that I have 2 loops on my hook, and then pull through, yarn over and pull through again, and that is going to count as my first double crochet. And now I'm going to yarn over so that I have 2 loops on my hook and go right back into that same stitch from the previous row, yarn over and pull through, so I have 3 loops on the hook, then I yarn over, pull through 2, so I have 2 loops left on the hook, and then yarn over and pull through 2, and that's going to give me the 2 double crochets to start off this row. So now we're going to skip 2 stitches from the previous row, so that's 1, 2, and we're going to go right into that third one, and we're going to make our first granny cluster, and that's going to be 3 double crochet into this stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3. And that's just the beginning of the row. So now we're going to go ahead and skip the next 2 again, and in that third stitch we're going to make another cluster of 3 double crochet. And that's going to be actually the pattern for the rest of this row. So we're going to skip these 2 stitches here and go into the third stitch and do another cluster of 3 double crochet. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then again, skip 2, and in that third stitch, do 3 double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3. And we'll go right ahead and skip the next 2 stitches again, and in this last stitch, just like how we did at the beginning, we're going to do 2 double crochet. So we're going to go right into that last stitch at the end of our row, and we'll do 1 double crochet and 2 double crochet. And that's the first row. Now this is a 2-row repeat for the pattern. So for this second row, this is what you're going to do. I'm going to turn over and I'm going to do my turning stitch as I did at the beginning of this project. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that done. And we're only going to do 1 here. So we're not going to do another double crochet into this same stitch. It's going to be this one, and then right in the space between the 2 clusters from the previous row, we're going to do another cluster of 3 double crochet. And we're just going to continue that way of doing 3 double crochet in between the clusters of 3 double crochets from the previous row. So we're going to finish off. I'm going to continue from here, and I'll show you guys how to finish off the row. But remember, you're doing 3 double crochet in the space between the clusters from the previous row. So I'll come back and show you guys how to finish this row. Okay, so now I'm at the point where I'm ready to do my last cluster of 3 double crochet. So I'm just going to do the 3 double crochet into this space right here from the previous row. That's 2, and that's 3. And now to finish off the row, just like how we started it off with 1 double crochet, because this turning chain does count as a double crochet, or the chain 3, depending on how you choose to start your rows. I'm going to finish it off with a double crochet in the last stitch from the previous row. So that's going to be a double crochet there. And for the next row, just like how we did in the first row, we're going to turn our work, and we're going to start off with 2 double crochet here. So I'm going to do my turning stitch, sorry about that, which is that stacked single crochet. And then right in the same stitch, we do a double crochet. And then we're going to go into the space between the clusters. So right here, we're going to skip this here, and we're going to go into this space here, and we'll do a cluster of 3 double crochet. And that's basically how you'll continue the pattern, where When the row starts with 2 double crochet, the next row will start with 1 double crochet. But either way, to work up the rows, you're going to be doing the granny cluster, which is going to be 3 double crochets in that space between the clusters from the previous row. So I'm just going to keep building up my project from here. And I'll show you guys one more time. I'm going to finish off this row and show you guys one more time how to start the next row. And then I'll continue working up the project from here. But this is going to be the width of my scarf, since it is a skinny scarf. This is as wide as it's going to be, and I'll just continue making it long from here. So I'll come back to show you guys how to start the 4th row. Okay, so here is what it looks like with 3 rows completed. As you can see, for the first row I have those 2 double crochet, then there's that 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochet, and now for row 4 we're going to repeat row 2. So we're going to start off with 1 double crochet at the beginning, or in this case it would be a chain 3, or like how I do my stacked single crochet for that turning stitch. And then we'll skip this double crochet here, go right into that space between the clusters, and we'll build up 3 double crochet. And of course this row, since it started with 1 double crochet, it's going to end with 1 double crochet, and row 5 will be a 2 double crochet start and 2 double crochet finish. So I'm just going to continue from here, building up my scarf until I'm done, and I'll of course check in with you guys as I'm getting through the scarf. So I'll check in with you guys again when I'm halfway through the scarf, just to show you guys how it's going, and then we'll decide from there. So I'll see you guys then. But this is what the project is looking like, and don't forget to keep track. If you start with 2, you're ending with 2, and if you start with 1, you're ending with 1. So just keep building up from there, and of course, like I said, I'll show you guys what it's looking like when I'm halfway through. Okay, so this is what the project is looking like so far. I'm not halfway through the scarf yet, but I did notice that the scarf is just a little bit too thick. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start over again. So I'm going to undo all of this, so that way I can try again with maybe this many. Let's see how many that is. That's 1, 2, 3 of the granny stitch, so 3 wide as far as the granny stitch will go, and I'll see if hopefully that'll leave me with enough yarn to make the scarf as long as I want it to be. But as of right now, this is how far I was able to get, and so I'm just going to undo everything, restart, and I'll show you guys what it looks like once I'm made it halfway through. Okay, so this is what the scarf is looking like, a little more than halfway through, but as I said, I did make it a little bit thinner. I went about 4 granny clusters wide so that I could maximize the yarn that I'm using, but this is the amount of yarn that I have left, so hopefully it will be enough to make the scarf just a little bit longer, but I'm gonna keep working until I finish up the yarn that I have. So once again, this is how long the scarf is. It's about halfway. here is the completed scarf. This is what it's looking like. This is the length of the scarf. It's a little short, but I was able to finish the yarn, so I don't have any more of this yarn left, not even scraps. It's completely done, but this is what the yarn looks like. I mean, the scarf. It is super cute. It's just long enough, and here's what it looks like with the hat. It's like the perfect little set. And I thank you guys so much for joining me in making this scarf and finishing my little set. I hope you guys had a great time. Anything that you decide to make, you can definitely use this granny stitch again in sweaters, in blankets, in pretty much anything you can think of. So now that you know how to make it, go ahead and make to your dreams' desires. I did end up shortening the scarf. Instead of 15 stitches, I ended up using 11, so it is a lot thinner than what I started with, as I said, which I absolutely love. It was perfect. This is the exact width I needed in order to get the length, because it would have been way shorter if I would have kept the 15 stitches. So I'm super happy with the way that it turned out and with the way that it looks, and I'm super happy to have this matching set, especially since the cold can't decide if it's coming or going, so I'm definitely prepared. But I'll see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course don't forget to check me out on Instagram and TikTok at chaoticgirl_crafts, where you'll be able to see TikToks and reels of these projects, as well as the project that I'm working on now. So I'll see you guys over there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!